It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. There is a move that you are ready to make, but you've been doing everything other than taking the action to actually do it. It's like you're right on the cusp of it. You can feel it coming in. You know what you want to do, but gosh, doesn't it just feel better to go outside to other people to get their opinions first? Looking for that validation, getting that feedback, or is it really just looking for the permission that you're not giving yourself? We are getting spicy today on the Gutsy Podcast because I am calling your ass out on the 3 ways that you are looking for permission instead of taking action. This is keeping you wanting something instead of getting it, talking about it instead of having it, and outsourcing your self-trust to somebody else's opinion. Look, I get it. Permission is comfortable because it spreads the responsibility around. But the only responsibility that you have right now is fulfilling the promise that you made to yourself. That's the core of all of this. Is at some point you made a decision that you were going to make a change. You were going to go for it. You were going to pivot. You were going to dodge. You were going to grow. Something is calling you forward, right? You're ready to make a move. And so you start researching and you start talking about it. You start getting opinions. You start growing with it. You start imagining what this could look and feel like. But then at some point, we have to take an action to actually start getting it. But where a lot of people get stuck is in this cycle of looking for permission, this external validation from other things and other people, this credibility that now somehow I am magically ready to do this, that I am allowed to do this now. When your whole body's probably been telling you the whole time, right? Like, you know that gut feeling that you've been getting, you know that tightness in your shoulders, you know what your heart has been calling you towards. But making that gutsy move is usually terrifying because you're doing something you're not used to. You're going after something new. You're making a change in your life that might affect other people, or you're just completely changing a lifestyle away from something that you've always known, something that your entire identity and your entire career has been wrapped up in. But there's something kind of communal about permission, isn't there? It's like when you have the conversations with enough people, it's like, if I just talk about it more, I can feel more validated. I can get more opinions. More people can give me their thumbs up. More people, like, people are involved, and we're humans, and human nature is to bond in community. Now, there's also a really big difference between getting perspective, leaning on trusted partners, talking to your coach. I mean, my clients talk to me all the time. But it's an intentional, curated space where we're sharing perspective to find a solution, not just to go outside of themselves to say, hey, tell me what to do. And one of the biggest differences with my clients too is when we're having these perspective talks, they're coming to the conversation with the intent that they're going to move. They just need to work through some of the details. They want to bounce around some ideas, and they really just want some extra clarification before they start making the next move. But after the conversation's done, they're moving. They're trusting themselves. They're putting their time and their effort into making that change. That's not the same as permission. Okay, when I'm talking about permission, I'm talking about if you ask enough people, there's this kind of background noise that says, hey, you know what? If it fails, I can quietly think, well, they thought it was a good idea too. They approved it. They said it was a good thing. So it's not just me. I'm not just taking the blame. It's like a buffer pad or a safety net. But self-trust is also accepting that no one gets to guarantee your future, including you. Look, I know that there is an unseen, there's an unknown, there are question marks around things, and nothing is truly guaranteed, except if you don't make a change, you're going to continue down the path that you're on right now. You're going to stay at a job that you know that you have outgrown. You're going to continue to do the same thing in your business and continue to feel drained and uninspired. You're going to stay in the marriage that you know is over. That's the only guarantee at this point. If you do nothing, those things are going to continue. But you're not here to settle for that. You're drawn towards something bigger, something better, something different. There's something that is calling you, that's lighting you up, that you know that you are ready for. And this whole habit thing around looking for permission before you can actually start doing it, that ain't working for you. So these are 3 signs, okay? 3 signs that you are probably looking for permission, because maybe you don't even realize that you're doing it. Maybe you don't yet know that it's truly time to make that step. That's a valid conversation. I want you to be able to see if these things are real and active in your life. And if they are, I'm going to give you some steps to take next. The first sign that you are looking for permission instead of taking action is that you keep collecting opinions instead of making a decision. This is where you are going to everyone that will listen to you to talk about your idea and what you want to do and what's happening to get their opinion. What do you think of this? Would you buy this? What's your opinion about this? Can you hear my story again? And you're not just asking 1 or 2 people. You're asking the whole town, okay? You've asked your spouse, you've asked your sister, you've asked your hairdresser, you've talked to the lady in line behind you at the grocery store, you've called your best friend across country, you're talking to the neighbor about it, you're talking to the person at the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, everybody that will listen to you, you're asking for their opinion. And you keep asking until you get the opinions that you're looking for. Ooh, I know. You can punch me in the face later. But when you're in those conversations and you start kind of prying the information to get the answer that you want, which helps to validate you, which is trying to fuel your permission. Ooh, if I get enough people that agree with me, that gives me the permission to make my next step. But then it goes further than that. You start to get the answer that you're looking for, and yet you go home and you still think about it. You still research about it. You still chat GPT it. It's not enough. That external validation is not enough because you've not yet anchored down into it. And let's also talk about the people that you're asking for opinions for. Are they business partners? Are they a coach that is invested in your business and your plan? Trusted advisors, experts, people that are educated on this topic that can properly guide you? Maybe. Chances are, probably not though. They're also probably not your ideal client. If this is a business matter, are they the people that would buy from you? Nope. So what we have here is a bunch of opinions from people that probably mean very well in your life, that don't have or understand the full picture of what it is that you're doing. So you end up with a mixed bag of thoughts and feelings and emotions and their own fears and their own insecurities and their own worries for you. Or you end up with their level of ambition and how they would do it and how fast they would move. And none of it is yours. So here's the gutsy move. Give yourself permission to trust what you already know. You know what you're ready to do. You know what you're being called towards. You know what the next step is. Trust that. Listen to yourself. Know what your body is saying. Validation doesn't create confidence. Your action does. And when your action is rooted in the self-trust that you are building, friend, that's when things start moving. It's okay to talk to people about your moves. I'm not suggesting that you do this by yourself. People have coaches and mentors and trusted partners for a reason. But that's the difference, is know who is in your inner circle, know who can properly guide you, and go to them with the information that you've already tapped into for yourself to help get clarification, to get some guidance on what your next steps are. That's perspective, not permission. The second way that you might be looking for permission instead of taking action, my friend, is continuing to say, I just need this one more thing first. I need to get one more certification and then I'll be ready. I need one more month and then I'll put it out there. I need a better website. I need to lose 10 pounds. I need to be more clear. I need to take this one more course. I need to wait until life calms down. There always seems to be one more thing that we've got to finish or do or accomplish or button up before you take the actual action to get this thing moving. Listen, your finish line keeps moving because ready, quote unquote, is not actually what you're waiting for. All those one more things are insinuating that, hey, once I do this, then I'll be ready. Once I have this, then I'll be ready. Once I take this one more thing, then I'll be ready. That finish line keeps moving because you and I both know that that one thing always opens up a door to another one more thing. And then we see somebody online and then we need to do one more thing. And it's a never ending story. What's really happening here is you're waiting for it to not feel scary anymore. You're waiting for it to feel good, to be very super comfortable in making this move. I hate to tell you, that rarely exists. Okay, your changes are going to feel scary. They're going to feel uncertain. There's going to be some butterflies in your gut. There's going to be all kinds of thoughts and feelings and emotions and jitters that come along with it. Because, hey, you've never started a business before. Hey, you've never up-leveled like this in your business before. Hey, you've never filed for divorce before. Hey, you've never left a corporate job to start your own gig. Like, okay, it's new. It's going to be terrifying. But when you keep latching on to, well, if I have this one more thing, then I'll do the thing, it's simply because the fear is driving the bus, friend. It's saying, I'm not ready enough, so I'm going to pad myself. I'm going to take it slower. I'm going to distract myself with doing all these other things first, or waiting for this other thing to get better, and then I'm going to do it. It's also reinforcing that you're not good enough as you are. That you're not ready, that you can't do this, that people like you don't do things like this. Bet me. Friend, this is not your first rodeo. This is not the first time that you have stepped out or gone after something or created something new or caused a ripple effect. This is just your next level of that. So the gutsy move here is to start with what you have and build from there. Because do you really need one more month, or do you really just need to put the post out? Do you really need to get more clear, or do you need to start taking action so that that momentum creates the clarity that you're sitting there trying to force out of you? Do you really need to take one more course? Or have you already gathered enough information like Pokemon cards that you are well versed in this topic and you know what you're doing? Start with what you have, period. You're going to build on top of it. Think about the very first apartment or very first home that you ever lived in outside of your parents. That first place was probably a little janky, wasn't it? Meaning you had like 4 pieces of furniture and nothing matched, and you didn't have any spices, and we were working on paper plates, right? Like it was low budget. It was a little piecemealed, but you kept going, and eventually those things evolved. And you got matching sets, and now you have a full spice drawer, and maybe now you live in a home with all of the things that you need, and you go to move and you're like, where did all this shit come from? This is the same concept, okay? Maybe right now you're living in your first apartment, theoretically. You may not have all the pieces, but you've got enough pieces to make do. Move with that. Build on top of it. Accumulate what is right for you. That movement creates momentum. Momentum creates clarity. Clarity creates more momentum. And it's just the snowball effect in the right direction. The third way that you might be looking for permission instead of taking action is that you are consuming more than you are creating, which is kind of ironic because you're sitting here consuming this podcast right now. But my hope for you always is that when you consume this podcast, that lights a fire under your ass and you've got a practical, tangible way to do something with the information. Not just collecting the episodes, not just gathering information, not just keeping a notebook full of things that you never look at, but to say, I learned something. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to put it into action. Because when you're just consistently consuming, you're gathering pieces, you're pulling in information, podcasts, books, tutorials, courses, you're reading blogs, you're subscribing to Substacks, you're consuming people's social media content, you're just gathering. But when are you gonna start doing? At some point, learning stops being growth and it starts to become avoidance. It's kicking the can down the lane. Again, it's keeping you in that safety net of, well, if I just need this stuff, it kind of pairs with the I need one more thing here. If I just keep gathering this information, if I just keep pulling this in, then I'll be ready someday. Friend, you do not have an information problem. You've got an implementation problem. This is the action. This is choosing what you're going to sink into, what you're going to absorb, what you're going to try, what you're going to implement. You know that saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. And if all you have are 16 notebooks with fantastically color-coordinated pens, but your business is still draining you and you're not working at the capacity, at the level that you know that you're made for, those pens don't really matter, do they? The gutsy move here is to choose one of those things that you've learned and try it. It might work for you, it might not, but sitting in your notebook is never going to give you the information that you need. It's like when we were little, collecting all those Barbie dolls and keeping them in the packaging because they were going to be worth something someday and never being able to play with them. Your ideas are your Barbies, okay? Your goals are your Barbies. Let them out. Play with them. See what they become. Give them a chance to move and to breathe. You don't have to have it all figured out to move. You just have to be willing to move with something. At some point, every single gutsy move that you are going to make requires you to become the person that says, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I trust myself enough to figure it out. I believe in myself enough to try. And I don't need anyone else's permission to go after what I know is right for me. Look, you know I will always tell you this. This is the permission that you don't need, but maybe need to hear right now. It's time. You have everything that you need. You are way more supported than you realize. And your next breakthrough, that goal that you've been looking at, seeing, feeling, tasting for how long now, is on the other side of your willingness to go for it. My challenge to you this week, when this episode ends, is to go out and do one thing that you've been dancing around. Make a decision that you've been dancing around. The decision that's rooted in your self-trust, that inner knowing, that feeling that you've had. Take one next step. I don't care if it is the smallest thing in the world. Or if you're feeling extra gutsy, make that bigger move that's overdue. Friend, you do not need permission to go after the things that you know are right for you. So take a nice big deep breath, put on a really good ass shaking song, lift that chin up, and let's go get it. P.S. If you're tired of doing this shit by yourself, you don't have to do that anymore. The Gutsy Collective is a community of women that are making bold moves alongside one another. So if there's something that you're working on and towards, and you are ready to upgrade your self-trust, you want to deepen your confidence, and you want to make more powerful decisions so that you can get this shit done, then I invite you to join the Gutsy Collective. Women in the space have started brand new businesses, left toxic marriages, moved homes, gotten their first places, set up boundaries with family members. I mean, you name it, these women have done it, and so can you. None of it was done overnight, but it most certainly was done together. Go to lauraora.com/Gutsy Collective to enroll today. And if you got some questions, shoot me a DM. My handle is @thatlauraora across all the platforms. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.